That's Quio.
That's Danielle.
And we are
A lost sheep.
Da-da-da.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99.
I'm gonna keep doing that every
I'm
time.
gonna keep doing that? Oh no.
Ready?
Mhm.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, thank you for another day, and thank you for another episode. Thank you for everything you've done for us, and I pray and I hope that, like what Quio mentioned last week, that this project does not fail, because this is something I've been wanting for a really long time, and it's finally unfolding, and I'm accepting the plan for me, and now dragging Quio into it. I thank you for everything that you've done for everybody. Pray for Palestine and what's going on with Palestine and Israel. And in Jesus' name we pray. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Amen.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
I don't know how to ask this question just to start it off. I guess. I'll ask you the question you asked last time. When was a moment that you put complete faith in the Lord and you just let go and let God? It's a cliche.
Okay, well, for me, a big moment that happened was probably, I remember my first big moment was Steubenville, where it was Steubenville 2019, and this is gonna go into a story time. Hi guys. Steubenville 2019, I remember it was during adoration, and we were just chilling there, and then I remember, one of the guys who was a part of the band, oh no, I don't think he was one of the guys part of the band, I think it was the priest, Father John, he was like, just stay quiet, let God speak to you. Just focus and try and listen to God speaking to you. Right? And so, I waited a couple seconds and I was like, this feels stupid. Nothing's gonna happen. Right? And the next thing I know, I clearly hear the word love just pop into my head, and I was like, huh? Okay. And then I remember at the end of every Steubenville, they'd always announce like, hey, if anybody got like a spiritual calling, stand up, come to the front of the stage, whatever, right? So they called up the guys first, and it's like, if any guy got like a spiritual calling to become a priest or whatever, come up. And then they're like, okay, now the girls, did anybody get like a spiritual calling to become a sister or go into the spiritual life? And then I remember him going, I didn't think much of it, and then my heart started racing, right? Because my brain was like, go up there, but my body was like, no. And then I remember he was like, last chance. I know that there are some hearts out there that are yearning to go and that are racing and beating, that want to go up but are too scared. It's okay to go up. And then my brain was like, go. Now's your chance. Go. My body's like, I'm gonna sit down. Which I regret. I should have gone up. But then after that, I spoke to somebody in our church, and I kind of like processed everything that was happening, and I realized that that was my spiritual calling. Not necessarily to go into like the spiritual life, but I strongly believe that because I heard the word love that one night during adoration, I've made it my goal, and I believe that it was set in my plan to just love as many people as I can, show people what love is, and just genuinely have that love for people, because I feel like God wanted me to show these people what love is, and to just love and take care of others. And yeah. So I just kind of like let it play out. And then I went to Italy right after Steubenville. And I remember my parents and we'd always stop at churches, and I'd just sit there for 30 minutes, just staring at the cross, being like, is this really what you want me to do? Like, are you sure about that? Like, me, of all people, you want me? And then I realized by the end of my trip, I was like, okay, that's doable. Here's another story I just remembered about putting the trust in the Lord. From elementary to high school, from grade 6 to around grade 9, grade 10, I was bullied. For the dumbest reasons. Hey, it is what it is, made me who I am now. But I remember always, I mentioned this last time too, but I remember always questioning God. I'm being like, hey, why would you do that? Why? Why would you let people do that? Like, thought you loved me, man. Why are you, like, letting people hurt me? And then it wasn't till grade 10 where I had enough. And I was like, no thanks. So I moved schools. I went from St. Elizabeth Catholic High School, co-ed, to Madonna Catholic Secondary School, all girls. So I'm currently in an all-girls school. And it's great. And being in an all-girls school made me realize that everybody was so, like, stuck up and, like, talked a lot of crap because the opposite gender was there. And something I've realized with co-ed schools is, like, everybody's trying to impress the other person to the point where they don't really care about, like, other people's feelings because it makes them seem, like, cooler if they, like, talk smack or whatever. Anyways, not my point. Point is, after moving schools, I realized that he put those people in my life to hurt me. And he put me down that path because he, first of all, doesn't put anybody through anything that they can't handle. Right? So, because he put me through that, it made me who I am now. It made me very much stronger mentally. Not so much physically. I'm still built like a noodle. But it's fine. Mentally, though, like a rock. Debatable. Sometimes. But I'm definitely much stronger than I was in elementary. And elementary was, like, pretty rough, too. But anyways, kind of just, like, accepted the fact that, like, hey, that was how my future went. That's how God did it. And it is what it is. I need to stop ending my stories with, it is what it is.
Oh, I wanted to, because as I was editing the last episode, there was a lot of but anyways, and I wanted to say, like, get a drink of water every time Danielle says but anyways.
You should do that.
The amount of times...
Take a sip of water every time Danielle says it is what it is. You'd be finishing a whole 2 bottles, kid you not. I say it is what it is way too much. Yeah. What about you, Quio? Ever had one of those striking moments?
I don't know. I've never really, like, given up. Maybe I haven't given up directly to God. Maybe I've given up to, like, other people. I have a hard time with that. I don't know if you've noticed this, Danielle, in terms of, like, altar serving, but, like, I ask a lot of questions. I need to know what is going to happen, because if I don't, and something surprises me, then it's just distressful.
Yeah.
And a good example of that is when Father Stephen, when in the one mass where, like, Aaron had left, and it was just us, and then, like, we got indicated to do something, and we're very, like we had to, strip down the altar. That was the whole thing. Right? We didn't know what was going on. And I was like, what is going on?
He just, like, stared at us, and he was like, stripping the altar, and I'm like,
yeah.
Huh? Now? Huh? And then I looked at you, and I'm like, apparently we're stripping the altar. Yeah,
I mean, if there's anything I've learned with, like, with Father Mary and Vlad, is just go with the flow. You just gotta be able to adapt.
Yeah, that's like the thing with altar serving too. It's like you gotta, like, think quick, because it's like, it's not like it's really in, like, our control, but there's always something that goes wrong. Like, it's, like, even, like, if it's something, like, tiny, there's always something that goes wrong. And it's like, well, it's fine. The congregation won't notice unless they're, like, the uber Catholics who always go, and they're, like, very picky about it. But, like, if they don't really know how certain like, especially high masses, it is quite easy to mess up high masses, but it's also quite easy for not people to notice. Because high masses don't happen frequently. So it's like, the gaps between each high mass, not many people would remember. Unless they're like us, and remember every little detail. I remember, I believe it was Holy Thursday, or Good Friday, when Aaron and I had the Critalis. I almost forgot the name. When Aaron and I had the Critalis. Pardon? That
would have been unfortunate if you didn't know the name.
I almost called it a crucible, and I'm like, no. Not a crucible. No. Critalis. I remember we missed the first, thing after we knelt down. Because, first of all, Aaron and I knelt on opposite sides of the altar, which shouldn't have happened. But it's okay. I remember... Oh, gosh, that was... I don't think people noticed, though. Aside from, like, us.
Oh, I noticed.
Well, no, but, like, us as in, like, the altar servers. I don't think anybody, like, I don't think the congregation noticed.
That's fair,
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you do this too, but every time I saw Miko upload the Easter masses and, like, the Holy Week masses, I'd always watch them again and nitpick every little thing we did wrong. Or, like, not nitpick, but I'd, like, rewatch them and I'd, like, cringe. And I'm like, oh, That was just one time.
You wanted to revisit that. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm never watching it again.
No, because I find it funny, but I remember, I think it was one of the Sunday masses. I think it was one of the Easter Sunday masses where I was thurifer. I think it was the 11 o'clock? The 11 o'clock. But I remember whichever one was uploaded, I was thurifer. I think the one... Anyways. I don't think it... Anyways, whatever. I was walking down the steps to go back to the credence table. And I remember it looked like I was about to fall face first. Even though I just, like, graciously, like... Not graciously. Graciously is an overstatement. I was just casually walking down the steps, but it looked like I was walking really fast, and it looked like I was about to, like, miss a step and, like, fall. But, yeah. Anyways, I remember watching that, and I was like... Well then.
Can we talk about your greatest moment as an altar server?
Greatest?
Father Eden's coronation. Oh.
No! The installment! Okay! Sure! Funny story. It was Father Stephen's installment. It was October 2019? 2018? When did he come to Joe's? 2018?
Was it?
3 years ago? 2018? Please don't tell me it was 2018.
It was 2019, because 2019 Passion Play was Father Mario's last.
Right. So it was October 2019. We were kneeling at the front of the altar, and I was kneeling beside one of my altar server friends. I don't know why altar server popped out of my mouth, but anyways. So I was kneeling, and I believe she wasn't holding anything. She was just kneeling, because I think she was co-MC for that mass. And then, so I remember I was kneeling beside her, and I was holding a torch. And I go, I think I'm gonna faint. And she's like, what? I'm like, I think I'm gonna faint. And she goes, do you want me to hold the torch? I'm like, yes, please. Next thing I know, she grabs the torch out of me, I'm on the floor, and I wake up to Julia's going, Danielle! And I'm like, huh? And then, like, there was, like, a good, like, there's a good, I'd say 5 or 6 people just, like, trying to shove water down my throat, and I'm like, pause, and I remember Nancy was like, do you know who I am? Do you know where you are? And I'm like, I don't remember your name, but I know who you are, yeah. And then I remember hearing stories from Julia being like, yeah, I saw you swaying back and forth and I like slid right before you like hit the floor. And I was like, well then. It's a very embarrassing time. And Father Stephen still brings it up. He still brings it up to this day. I remember before the lockdown happened, he was like, hey, we're not going to have a recreation of what happened at my installment, right? And I'm like, I thought we agreed not to talk about that anymore. Why are you bringing it up? He's like, it's funny. And then he'd casually bring it up in the office, too. Like, I don't remember the context of the conversation, but I was with Arlene and Nico. And then Father Stephen just brings up me fainting. And I'm like, can we not? Like, I fainted in front of how many people were in the congregation that day?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. But like,
from my perspective of it, I was book server, so I was with Vlad. I was right beside Vlad. I think the bishop was up the ambo, and then I'm with Vlad. I can't see what happened because the altar is there, right? So all I know is everything has stopped, and everyone's like crouched over someone, right? And then I think it was Vlad. Vlad was like, I think that was Danielle, and I was like, oh, and I will be honest. Okay, so the first thing, obviously we're friends, right? So the first thing was, oh no, Danielle fainted. What happened? Why? The second one was, oh my gosh, this had to happen like right in this mass.
Especially right in front of the congregation, right. Too, just flat in center. Like, I could have just fainted at the back or at the side where the credence table is. It's like, no, my body's like, we're gonna faint in front of everybody.
Lesson, everyone, is
the lesson is don't overwork yourself when you're sick, because I was like, oh, it's Father Stephen's installment, I don't want to miss it. Take in. This was pre-COVID. Don't think I'm like psycho, but I was recovering from a little bit of the flu. I still had like a tiny bit of like flu symptoms, which I should have listened to my body and stayed home. But I was like, no, it's his installment. I want to go. I want to be there for that mass. Overworked my body. Next thing I know, I'm on the floor for a good, like, 20 seconds. I don't know how long I was out for. It felt like an eternity.
It was actually quite a long time.
Really?
Yeah, maybe a minute and a half. I guess that isn't a long time, but, like, in terms of, like, fainting, that seems like a long time, right?
I was not breathing, though, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Once again, I didn't know what was going on, so...
Well, I don't recall anybody doing CPR, so I'm pretty sure I was breathing.
I mean, let's be honest, do you think any of the church people immediately, like, just start assessing you? Being like, are you awake? Are you awake? Or, what's the other one? Are you awake?
Can you feel this? Hello? Can you feel this? That one? Pull the life grade move? No, but there was a doctor, nurse in the congregation. She came up. Julia was also, okay. Julia was...
trained,
yeah. But she was also pretty much, like, in my face. And was like... I sounded really rude when I said in my face. But, like, she was, like, up there, and she was like, hello, like, Danielle, hello, and I was like, whoa, what? Yeah. I remember, like, walking down, and everybody was, like, clapping, and I'm like, okay, anyways. Yeah.
Jar, now I gotta think of a good story of my altar serving. I don't have it. You have very interesting stories, just in general. I do not have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember, this is not a bad story. I remember, when, this is bad on me though. When, there was a bishop who came from the Philippines to visit. And I remember this was the first time they ever said anything about Vimpai, which is, yes, it's Vimpa. Okay, grammar lesson. Vimpa, Vimpai. Okay, Vimpa is the singular, Vimpai is the plural. Okay,
I don't even know
Pegasus,
what that is.
Pegasi. Okay, so Vimpa is the servers that like hold the mitre of the hat thing.
Okay.
And I want to say crozier. I'm not entirely sure, but like the staff, the shepherd's crook. There's another one for that. So usually there's two. When this bishop came, the altar server director had to teach everyone how to be a Vimpa. Because, we just in general, it's like one of those topics that you're never going to learn anyway, so might as well do it while we have this opportunity. And I remember I learned like how and when each of the things go, and I was very like excited. But then I wasn't chosen to be a Vimpa, and I was very jealous of the people that were. And, yeah, that was not good. And I remember I was at the Mass. I served at the Mass, but not as a Vimpa. And the entire time, I just could not stop thinking about the fact that it's like, I want to carry the hat. I want to carry the staff thingy. Eventually I did, when it was like a confirmation Mass, I think, and the bishop was there. And then I asked my mom to email our altar server director and be like, hey, Quio wants to be a Vimpa. And I got it. It was fun. It was lots of fun. I didn't remember anything. It was basically just Vlad being like, switch out. Like, he would like, Vlad, he does all the job basically. And you're just there holding it. But it was a lot of fun. I got to wear what's it called? It's the, how Father, when he carries the monstrance.
Oh, the cloak thingy? The cool, like, long
humeral veil. Yeah, the humeral veil, I want to call it.
It's the one that he uses for Addo, right?
Yeah, so they had two. They gave one to each Vimpai. And I had one. So the entire time, I get to, like, you know how you, like, walk around with, like, if you have, like, a zipper jacket, and you, like, put your hands in your pockets, and you just, like, move them around like this, like,
yeah.
with wings. Yeah, I got to do that, but with, like official regal cloth, essentially. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I was very jealous at the time. And there's a lot of that, I think. As I was an altar server, there's a lot of moments where, like, I was, passed over. That's the word. Passed over. In terms of these types of things. And, yeah, there's a whole thing about that. I'm okay now. I think it helped me be humble, at least. Like, it's not like, just because you know everything about altar serving means that you're going to have all the important jobs, right? No, it just means that you're annoying and you're only called upon when they need to teach things. Like, yes, slight salt.
I remember.
Yes, adolescence as an altar server is not fun. Okay.
No. It isn't fun. But, no, this wasn't supposed to lead into a story. What was I gonna say? See, like, all of your altar server stories are all, like, lesson learned type things. And then there's mine where it's just embarrassing. Like, I fainted at Father Stephen's installment, the first ever Mass where I was MC, or co-MC, or basically just thorougher. It was Pentecost in 2019. It was so bad. I did not remember that Father Steve. I had to hand the thurible to Father Stephen so he could walk around the altar and bless everything. After we processed in, I just put the thurible down and he stared at me and I'm like, huh? And then Julia took one of the senior altar servers, and she was like, yeah, you're gonna go help them serve, because I can't trust you to do thurible. And I'm like, cool. Because it's like, the closest thing I've ever had to do that was, like, involving thurible was boat. And the one time I was thurible for Divine Mercy Sunday procession, but all I did was walk around the block swinging the incense, and then when we went back into the church, I was boat, so didn't have to do that. And then I guess there was thurible for adoration, but it's just walk in, hand, blesses, hold, leave it there, walk out type thing. Like, there wasn't like, and then but then we added like procession around the church, but that's like, it's basic, right? Like, actual like high masses, I didn't do a proper thurible job until probably Holy Week, because that was the next time I was able to do thurible for a high mass. But yeah.
I'm fairly certain you did thurible before I did, because I didn't do thurible until Christmas of, what year did we do procession?
Our last procession?
Yeah.
2019.
Was that 2019?
Yeah.
Okay, so Christmas of 2019 was the first time I did thurible.
Seriously? I did thurible before you?
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
That doesn't sit
I know
right.
exactly how to do it. I know it's step by step. I can tell you. You asked me, I remember. You were doing it for Holy Week, and you asked me, like, questions, right? And I can answer perfectly. I can teach it to anyone. I remember, I think it was Erin. She like gave Thurible to not some random altar server, like an altar server that was like
some random kid just hands him the Thurible.
But he's not older. What's the correct way of saying this? He's like
a tween.
Young. Yes, a tween. Let's say tween. He's like a tween, right? And he's given the Thurible, and he's freaking out, right? And I don't know why I was there. I think because Eli was serving, but I wasn't serving. And I remember they were asking lots of questions, but at the time, whoever the MC was busy dealing with other things. So I was just there, trying to make sure they're all fine. And I was like explaining exactly how to do Thurible to this person, but I've never done Thurible at the time. So
where were you at my Pentecost mass then? It was so embarrassing. And then I remember like going to Father Stephen after, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, it isn't. It's Pentecost, and it was the 12:30 mass, bro. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, it isn't. He's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, it ain't. And then I remember his words were, stop being so hard on yourself, Danielle. Jeez. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But
Father Stephen's very understanding.
He is. If it was Father Mario, I would have like walked right out the door. I'd be like, okay, bye. You don't understand the fear that would run through my body when I have to altar serve with Father Mario. As much as I love him, he's so scary in my opinion to serve with. Him and Vlad are a very deadly duo.
You know, I almost died.
I almost died, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, 2018, that was the Passion Play set with the one stairway, right? I remember the Holy Spirit was there. The last thing. So this is one of those moments where I realized that I did not trust the Passion Play set, okay? So I'm serving book. It's a normal book server. It's on book server, and it's closing, right? And all of the announcements are going very long because we have a lot of Passion Play announcements to give. And Father Mario looks at me and he whispers, let's end the mass on the stairs. And I'm like, okay, Father, because obviously he's a priest, you can't say no. But in my heart, I'm like, no, I've never been up there. There's no railings. I don't understand how anyone can go up this thing every, Passion Play practice. But we go up nonetheless. I go up. I remember thinking that I would have to help Father Mario, but he, comfortably went up the stairs while I was, shaking with the book. So I was like, okay, fine, he can do it, I'm fine.
I think you're the one who needed the assistance.
Yes. Just, hold my hand, please, as we climb these stairs with no railings. And then we're there, I'm on the edge. He's at least, in, the corner, right? So if he falls, he'll just land on the wall. If I fall, my head's going into the altar. Or in a candle or something, right? So I'm freaking out. I think my hands are shaking. My hands naturally shake with a book anyway because
it's heavy.
When they need to read it, right? So you get nervous. But I'm on top of this part. I know if I fall, it will hurt a lot. And we end mass this way, and everyone is in total shock as we climbed up, and they just watch, and they're all on, and they're all please don't fall, please don't fall. And we managed to come down. And I think that is one of those moments where I realized altar serving is an occupational hazard. Okay? Not only are you dealing with fire a lot of the time, but sometimes if the Passion Play set is designed that way, they will get you to go up and you may fall. I did not fall though, thank God.
You just reminded me something about fire. It was the Easter Vigil this year. One of the altar servers had the wick and she had to light all of the smaller candles at the front where Jesus was. And, the little, red... What's it called? Do you know what it's called?
Wait, which one are we asking?
It's the Divine Mercy Saturday. Not Divine Mercy Saturday. The Easter Vigil that we had on Saturday. You know how when you're facing the altar to the right, you know the thing that she was lighting? That whole, altar type thing? What's it called?
The Divine Mercy candles? The Divine Mercy altar?
Oh. Is it? I don't know. Anyways,
right?
Yeah, it was the one with that, and the red and the lilies were there, and then there was all the candles at the front.
I think Aaron just called it Divine Mercy candles.
Okay. Anyway, so the Divine Mercy candles, but the way it was is the wax is lower, So it was like glass here, like water bottle. It was glass. This is like the top of the candle, but then the wax didn't start till like here, and the wick wasn't up until like here. So there was a pretty like decent amount of space between where it started, right? And I remember we had to light everything because that was the time of the match where we had to light everything, and her whole wick just caught on fire, and I was staring at it, and I was like, okay. And then I go to Erin, and I'm like, do I just tell her to stop? She's like, yeah. And then I was like, dude, stop lighting the candles, just give up, it's okay. Gosh, it was scary.
She's quite brave to like hold on. It's like
She was
tiny. It was
holding by yeah, and then everything else was like on fire, and she like casually just like dipped the wick into the wax, and then was just like dangling it like that, hoping it would light. And I was staring at her, and I was like, she's gonna burn her hand. But anyways,
there. See that the but anyways.
I think I'm gonna add in the description. Take a sip of water every time Danielle says "but anyways" or "it is what it is." I think we're just gonna put like, you know what, in the description I'm gonna be like, comment how many times Danielle said "it is what it is" or "but anyways" or "anyways." Yeah, anyways. Moving on. Thank you guys for enjoying for listening to today's episode.
I mean, I hope you're enjoying this.
Yeah, I really feel like
you're just being forced by her. Comment.
Anyways. I did it again. Anyways, guys. I'm just gonna give up.
Okay. Well, that's all we got.
That's all we got for today. Catch us next week on The Lost Sheep. That's Quio.
That's Danielle.
And we are
The Lost Sheep.
Da-da-da! Okay.